A question that students might ask is, where do we get the data for this case study? We have a link within the document that has been sent out, but we will also have that on our website if you need to be able to get that table of information to populate your project.
Claire, you might want to share that document so that they get familiar with where exactly that link is located.
Okay, just a moment. I don't have that. I didn't have that set up here.
Okay, so let me see if I'm not sure if this is, I think this is close to the final version. Just so that all the students and then the faculty advisor get to see. This is the actual case that you should have received. So we had an overview and then some eligibility statements. So the real detailed case description starts from page 2, and here's the project inputs, and that's where this link will take you to a, I think it's a Google Sheet or some kind of a spreadsheet. That tells you where are the customer demands. And then this is, while you are learning about the software should be able to import such a data set. Okay, so that's where relatively in the case study that you'll find the data. Okay, other stuff are also specified in the tables and things like that. So, all right. Claire, sorry about that. And then
no, that's helpful.
Yeah,
I appreciate you're doing that.
Yeah.
Steve, what we'd like to talk to you about or ask for your help is, what are some of the network problems that most commonly arise when people are working on projects?
Oh, just in you mean with the use of the tool, or in general?
Actually both, if you would be so kind.
Well, network design is really just, do I have the right network? Do I have the right pieces and the flows? And so flow is probably a new term to you, but when you think of a supply chain, you don't just go out and buy a wrench. Oops. You know, there actually is a whole stream of wrenches coming from the wrench factory, as well as, you know, metal and rubber and material going into it. And you know, you might go and buy one wrench, but your county, your city is buying 100 a month, and that's the flow. So there's this continuous flow of material. So you're really trying to solve the problem of, am I making it in the right place? Am I moving it to the right place to store it and then distribute it out to people? And in a nutshell, that's just it. And that's exactly what your use case will be. Now, the challenge is, number one, doing a baseline first. Do I have what I'm currently doing? And that'll be, step one in the problem is bring in the data, make sure that the material is starting to flow at the right place. You'll see in the tool itself, we call it supply. So there should be one node with a tick mark that says supply. And then that actually has to have a lane, and these lanes have little arrows on them. The lanes go out, and that's like a plumbing diagram. It goes out to a warehouse, and the warehouse then might store the material and then further ship it to the customer. But your task is to actually find the best combination of those, because I can do a lot of distribution centers near the customer. My costs go up, but that service time gets really short. Or I can have, hold my inventory back at the plant and have one distribution center and ship outbound, and I have low freight costs but high, terrible service level. So it really gets down to that curve. When you're solving a problem, you're looking at a business saying, what is the best cost and service combination of these nodes and lanes to solve the problem? And it's really more engineering. The business side is, what's the trade-off between cost and service? The engineering side is, what are the numbers? Can I make something that makes those lowest cost numbers?
Thank you. That's so very helpful. To just confirm with the students, as part of this competition, we are asking the students to complete what we call a documentation portfolio and a poster display. So what is the format of the documentation portfolio? It is outlined in the item that Dr. Bai put on the screen. We will also have that on our website, but these are the main components that would be within your documentation, your report that you are preparing. We also ask that the students prepare a poster to display their work. So we will have templates on our website that you can access, and you can have some creativity in putting together your display. This was a display from one of last year's. So there was certainly some narrative that they shared with us, what their method, how they approached it. They actually provided some bar graphs to how they were able to reduce the amount of time it was to get the product to their customers, and what, based on what their different scenarios were, what they determined. That they would need some more warehouses across the service area, provided a faster delivery time. So here's one example of a poster. For the regional competitions, we are asking that student teams submit the documentation portfolio and the poster to us online, and it will be assessed and given feedback, written feedback to the teams, but there will not be an on-site presentation. Following the regional competitions, the judges will send out information to the teams that are going to advance to the state conference. So some of the key dates for you to be aware of. February 10th, we're asking teams to register their plans to be involved with the competition. On February the 17th, we're asking you to submit your portfolio and poster, and we will provide written feedback from the judges to each of the teams, and you can actually take that feedback and make changes within your report as well as in your display for the state conference. On February 24th, all the teams will be notified about their status. We'll let you know whether you're advancing onto the state conference, or we unfortunately will not be able to move forward from where the regional competition. And then in April, I've not heard from Mark what time the actual state competition is going to be slated during the conference, but it will be held during the conference in Louisville in April. And as part of the actual presentation that students will make, we want to let you know that there is a 10-minute limit for the entire presentation. So at this time, I'm going to stop and see if there are some questions that you might have that we could respond to.